Hello, everyone. Welcome to Unicorn Dust Designs. My name is Sammy. Today, I am feeling the spring vibes. It is 65 degrees in Kansas and the sun is out. So, I wanted to show you some ways you can upcycle some old home decor, even some Dollar Tree items. So, hopping right into this video, I am going to grab this wall pocket. I find these at the thrift store all the time for under $5. I'm going to use Cowgirl Coral, and y'all, you need this in your paint collection. It is such a beautiful spring color. I am going to grab a paintbrush and I'm going to paint the back inside of it and then the front. I'm not going to paint the back. It's nice and it's galvanized. These brushes, you guys, if you do not have the budget to shop the DIY paintbrushes, I have these in my Amazon store link and they are absolutely wonderful and they come in a 3-pack. I am going to grab the Wander transfer. I don't currently have these in stock, you guys. I am waiting until that first quarter release comes out to restock everything. So give me a little bit of time. Hopefully that release is coming soon. But we are going to take this and I'm going to shape it to the front of my planter. Having curved surfaces does not affect your transfers whatsoever. I am going to do this in pieces, just 2 pieces. I'm going to take the plastic little tool it comes with and I'm going to push down on my transfer, if I could talk, and then pull up on that backing. I am going to take the bigger piece next. These transfers do have a little tack to them, so it makes it really easy to apply to a curved surface because you don't have it popping up on you. Then I'm going to add a couple other flowers to some blank spots. This is also a good way of covering up any blemishes you may have made during the process. And then we're going to take our DIY clear wax and we are going to seal our paint and our transfer. And y'all, what an easy way of transforming these. Even if you can find these wall pockets at Hobby Lobby for like deep clearance, they are such a beautiful blank slate to work on. And I've done so many of these wall pockets in the past, and there are absolutely endless ways of transforming them. So I hope you could get your hands on some of these wall pockets. Now I'm going to take this blank white canister. Y'all, you might have one in your house, and you could definitely find them at garage sales or the thrift store. I'm going to take my painter's tape and I'm going to line the inside. I don't want paint or anything getting on the inside. I'm going to take, this is actually Moss by Waverly, and this is baking soda, but we usually use salt wash nowadays. And I am going to just put a light coat. I'm not stippling this on. I am actually just going to brush it on for a light texture. I'm then going to take my IOD frames mold. Unfortunately, you guys, this one has not been in stock at the warehouse. So hopefully the next time I order, I will be able to get my hands on this. I'm going to push my air dry clay down, and the IOD molds have this awesome rim on the edges, which make it really easy to push in and over that rim for a nice smooth background. I use DOS air dry clay, paper clay, and then of course the IOD clay as well. After I'm done, I just bin that on out of my mold. I'm also going to paint that in the moss green as well. And when your molds are wet and you paint, I cannot talk, you guys. Maybe I had just like 1 cup of coffee and I'm just like losing my mind. Anyways, paint while it's wet and you get less cracks. That's what I was trying to say. Go ahead and put some glue on the back of that. Lay this on your canister and let it set overnight, especially if it's a curved surface like this. Do not sit it up right away. Once everything dries, I am taking some white paint and I'm just doing a light dry brush around that to bring all of the texture out. And of course, we have to add some gold gilded wax to that beautiful frame to make all of the details pop. I am going to take this image I got from Graphics plaqueberries.com. Their graphics are actually free and they're absolutely stunning. We're going to apply some liquid patina to the back of this, which I already did. We're going to push that on down, and then we are going to apply another one on top. And look at how I got a little bit, of stuff on the top, but this turned out absolutely gorgeous. And it's just, it proves that like taking molds, paper, paint can literally transform anything. This little trinket dish, it was cute, but it wasn't selling on my website. So I just wanted to give it just a little update. Sometimes the pastels I feel like make things look a little bit more older. So I'm going to clean this off. I sprayed it with Clear Matte by Rust-Oleum. And then we are using probably the most underrated color of DIY, which is Water Lily. This color is stunning and you need it in your stash for the spring. I am going to coat the bottom of the flower and then I'm also going to do the inside. I am making sure to be very careful because I obviously don't want a purple rabbit. And I do give this 2 coats of water lily. You can see how beautiful that dries down. I'm going to take my white wax and my chippy brush and I'm going to dust that wax on. The wax is going to seal it and it's also going to bring out all of those beautiful details of the petals. I'm also going to grab some gold wax and just do the rim of this flower. You could use paint, but just make sure you use gold paint before applying that white wax, not after. So that's why I used the gold wax instead. And this was such an easy way. I know it was just paint. It wasn't like a huge, upcycle by any means, but I definitely think it made it just a little bit more modern. It stands out a little bit more. And look at how beautiful that white wax made those petals look. Gorga. All right. For this one, I am going to take the rosettes mold. I do believe I have these in stock. And I'm going to do a bunch of them. I do end up using the bigger flower on this one. And we are going to take the Dollar Tree planters. Y'all, they're already out. This one had an embossed crab on it. Obviously, I didn't want that showing. So I'm going to take the tag off and then our jute cord off on top as well. I'm going to take our mold. I'm going to apply our tight bond to the back of it and then make sure that I spread that out, especially get to those edges so they don't pop up on you. And I'm going to lay that down. Now you have to have air dry clay. Well, I mean, you could do it with resin. We won't get into that, okay, you guys. And now I'm going to go into the Classics Elements mold. And this one, I'm going to make 2 of the same mold, and you'll see why. Because we are using this flower pot, and this one, the letters are embossed on both sides. So I decided to use the same mold. You don't have to use the same mold on each side, but to each their own. So I got my Type Mom, put that on, adhered it with some painter's tape so that I could flip it around and then apply that second mold to it. Once I was done, I'm going to take plaster by Waverly. I need to this is such a huge bottle. We need to get rid of it. And I'm going to pour some salt wash into here. Now, salt wash is a paint additive. It is going to create tons of texture. And let me tell y'all, the texture like turns rock hard. Now, the more salt wash you put in, the more texture you are going to get. And I want a lot of texture because especially for that bigger planter, there are still raised letters that are showing. So we're going to need to cover that up. I'm going to grab our first planter and I'm just going to do kind of like a base coat covering everything up. And then I'm going to start stippling the salt wash on there. This is going to create a lot of peaks and ridges. This is what is going to completely transform these into something higher end instead of galvanized buckets. I'm going to do a close up right here where you can really see all of that texture. I'm going to do the same thing to the bigger planter, making sure that I really get that texture heavy wherever the letters are so we can ensure those are covered up and don't pop through. I'm going to use milk paint. This is, I think it's Coralina, and I get my milk paint from Brie at upcycledbybrie.com. And I am going to coat this. I knew I wasn't going to get much crackle with um, the milk paint because you guys know I never do. I don't know why. And I'm going to coat both planters with this. After they dry, I'm going to take a wet cloth. And the reason I'm taking a wet cloth instead of a baby wipe or a paper towel is because I put so much texture on here that the paper would just kind of like grab onto those peaks and ridges. So I'm wet distressing this, and you can see how that bottom color is coming through and showing all of that beautiful detail. I do the same thing for the bigger one. We clear them with clear wax. And I mean, come on, these are jaw dropping, absolutely beautiful. There is no way anybody would know there was like a crab underneath the smaller one or wording underneath that bigger one. They are so beautiful, and this color is fire. All right. So taking some of that leftover salt wash, I am going to take one of these pieces of wood. Now, these wood pieces, you guys, you could get, I think they come in a 4-pack at Hobby Lobby. And when they're 40% off, they're really inexpensive. So if you're someone that doesn't have a saw or wood or whatever, these are a great option for some like wood sign DIYs. So I am just putting this on sporadically. Then once that dries, I'm going to grab some more milk paint. This one is in the color Harbor, I believe. And I am going to brush this on, and I don't want it covering my entire piece of wood. I want some of that wood coming out. I want some of that white coming out. I want this to look worn and rustic. So after that milk paint dries, I come in with a sanding block because I want more of that white to show through so it looks like chippy paint. After that's done, we are going to lay our stamps out. Now, I do have this stamp, but I do not have the cursive stamp. If you guys are interested in the cursive stamp, let me know in the comments so that I can order some in my next order. All right, so always make sure you lay out your stamps before applying them, please. We want to make sure that we have the room to fit everything that we want on there, which we do. So I am just taking a kitchen mat for this, and I'm applying my black ink, making sure that it is a nice healthy coat. I'm going to put that on. You can use a brayer for this. I just use my fingers and make sure that I am like pressing good in there, making sure that ink is getting into all of the texture that we created. It's going to come up light, but that's okay because this is supposed to look worn. Now, the cursive lettering, I know it looks intimidating, y'all. I was intimidated by them, but I promise it's not. All you have to do are layer the letters on top of the previous tails. You guys picking up what I'm putting down? So you'll see I layered that over the tail of the S. Then for the U, I'm going to layer that over the tail of the O. And then you just keep on layering them on top of each other. And they're actually really easy to use. Now I'm going to take my Rose Chintz paint inlay. Y'all know I love this. I use it all the time. I think the inlays that have one print on the entire sheet are so easy to use and manipulate. So I am cutting just pieces off of my sheet. I'm using polyacrylic. You could use Big Top, liquid patina, and I am putting that down, placing my paint inlay on top of it. I spritzed it with water, and then I pushed down the paint inlay with a paper towel. The paint inlays are actual paints, and once they fuse with either paint or like a liquid top coat, they will transfer. So once this is completely dry, you'll know they're dry because they will turn back to the white color. You're going to spritz them with some more water, and then you are going to dab them with some paper towels, and then you're just going to peel that paint inlay up, and oh my goodness, they are absolutely stunning. And they came out really light, which is exactly what I was going for. And you can use your paint inlays up to like 3 to 4 times. They just are going to get lighter and lighter with more use. And then I'm just clearing mine with polyacrylic, and wow, this came out stunning, absolutely stunning. And y'all, seriously, the letter stamps are definitely worth the investment. Obviously, all the stamps you can use over and over and over again, but I seriously have not touched my Cricut in ages since getting the letter stamps. I'm like, I'm okay with not weeding out any letters. So these are definitely worth the investments to have the letter stamps in your collection. Taking another Dollar Tree piece item, this is just one of their wood plaques. I coated it with that Coralina paint, and then I'm going to take one of these little scrap pages. My friend Kendra sent these over to me, and once I looked through like the million pieces of paper, I decided on this beauty. I'm going to take my liquid patina and I'm going to put a healthy coat because this wood likes to just like suck that stuff right on up. And we are going to lay our paper on there, smooth it out, and once it dries, I will sand off the edges, and then we will put another coat of that liquid patina on top of our paper to make sure it's sealed in. I'm going to take one of my resin molds, and I'm going to use Monet's Garden. Now, I really wish I would not have painted the middle in green, but I did, so you'll see what happens. I'm going to take the Roy Cycled catalog sheet. Y'all, I'm so sorry. I think I only have like one of these left, but everything will be restocked soon as far as the papers go. All right, so I'm going to lay that on top of our frame. I'm going to get my nail and I'm going to push that in. That way, when I take it up, I can see where to cut my image. You could also use a wet paintbrush as well. Now we're going to use that liquid patina once again, coat the middle of our frame, and then we're going to lay our decoupage paper on there. And you will see when you put that decoupage paper on top of a darker color, it's not going to stand out and pop as much as when you paint the background in white. So it still turned out good, but I do really wish that I would have left it white because the paper is just so beautiful and I really wanted those butterflies to pop out at you. So once I'm done with that, I'm going to take some, I think this is Gorilla Glue, and I'm going to adhere that to the front. I also applied gold wax to the frame, which I didn't show. My apologies. And this came out so beautiful. And we seriously used a little bit of everything. We used Dollar Tree, Amazon, IOD, Roy Cycled, but you can see how we can easily transform a Dollar Tree base into something amazing. This planter, you guys, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. I found it, I think it was $4.99 at the thrift store, and it is heavy. This baby like probably weighs 10 pounds. I'm going to take that Harbor Milk paint once again, and I am going to give this a good coat. I was truly crossing my fingers for some crackle and some, peeling off. I got, you'll see some light crackle. I used my heat gun on it like a lot. And then I got some parts that flaked off. It wasn't as much as I wanted, but I knew that I could still make it look a little bit more dingy because I didn't want it looking like soft and pretty. I wanted it to look old. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my DIY clear wax and I'm going to coat the entire piece with the wax. Now, I don't want this wax to cure. While it is still wet, I am going to take dark and decrepit. You know what? This one isn't dark and decrepit. I think this is the Sweet Pickens in the gray color, the grit, I think they call it. And I am going to apply this in all of the places that like dirt would naturally settle on a planter if it was outside. And something I don't show right here is after I let it set up for like a couple minutes, I'll take another chippy brush, and I'll just brush the excess of that off. And then everywhere we put it, it sticks to that wax and it creates a beautiful, decrepit looking planter. So I feel like I definitely got the look that I was going for and that I couldn't necessarily achieve with only using the milk paint. And I love this. This is going in my window and it is going to look stunning. Ta-da! Another Dollar Tree piece. Okay, so I used the bottom half for something else. I was like, this bunny is perfect, obviously, for spring. And there ain't nothing we can't transform with some molds. So I am going to take quite a bit of molds here and I am going to create a fabulous little plaque sign. So after finding my placement, I am going to put my Titebond on my mold. I'm using a paintbrush because I've realized that I do not like that Titebond glue on my fingers. It drives me bananas. I'm going to lay those out. You can see I even have like a medallion on the top. And then I'm also going to use the letters and I'm going to also lay those out before adhering everything. Once I get those attached, we are going to dip into some Farm Fresh. And you guys, Farm Fresh dries down so beautifully. So right here, I'm just using a chip brush, making sure I could get into all of the details, especially like on the sides of the letters. And after that, we are going to apply our DIY clear wax. And I am applying the clear wax first because I am going to layer on top of that with some white wax. Now, usually I kind of like stipple heavily on the molds, but this time I'm more kind of like dry brushing the wax on. It has more of like a feathery look. Does that make sense? And then I'm wiping back the molds as well. And you guys, I mean, hello. This is gorgeous. And it's just a testament to how molds can really transform a piece. I mean, even if this didn't have a bunny on it and we took a plain piece of wood and put these molds on it, it would look absolutely gorga. All right. We know I hoard candlesticks. So we are going to take this trio here. I do clean these up and then I do spray them with clear matte because that the middle part is very slick. Not that you need it with clay-based paint. It's just habit for me. And we are going to take Apothecary. If you do not have Apothecary, snatch it up. This is like probably the number one seller of DIY paint colors. It's beautiful. And after I'm done painting all of them up, we are going to take white wax. And if you guys did not know, DIY paints and waxes are all natural. They have no VOCs in them, no chemicals, so they are perfect to use inside your home with your babies. They are just wonderful. I am just dry brushing our wax on, and this wax is going to seal our paint as well, so you don't need to put anything on top of this. I am going to do that with all three of our candle holders, and you'll see right here the difference. The one on the right, I use the white wax, and the one on the left, I don't have any wax on. So definitely preference. I'm going to take some Spanish moss. I'm not going to spray it with any kind of like glues or spray. I'm just kind of free-handing some little bird's nests here. And then I'm going to take the Dollar General birds. They come out with these every spring and summer season. They're only like $1 each. And I'm going to paint this one white and then dry brush some dark wax on there to bring out all of the beautiful feathers. I'm going to put that one on top of this nest. Then we're going to form 3 more nests and then just decorate them. So I took some Hobby Lobby eggs, put some sprigs in this one, and then for our final one, I took a thrifted bird and a painted egg. And these are awesome because I did not attach any of that stuff to the top. So we can take those off, change them by season, put candles on there. So this is a great idea if you have a lot of candle holders, how to display them for the spring season. And our last one, y'all. You might have some of these in your house. I find them all the time at the thrift store. They are Avon planters. I sprayed this with Clear Matte by Rust-Oleum. I'm taking Farm Fresh and I'm just doing a messy coat. So you could brush this on, stipple it on. It does not matter because it is not our final top coat. After that completely dries, I'm going to go in with cake batter. Now, you could clear that Farm Fresh with Big Top beforehand, but it is not necessary. Cake batter, you guys, is like the perfect yellow. It's not bright, it's not pastel, it's just a happy medium here. And I'm going to stipple the cake batter on. And once that's dry, I'm going to take a baby wipe and I'm going to wet distress. Now, this is where I like wet distressing with your finger because you have the control. So I am only pushing hard enough to get that first layer of cake batter off of there so that my farm fresh shows through. If I were to put more pressure on, I would go down to that white, which I did not want. So I just took my time, went a little slower and softer just to get down to that farm fresh color. It brought out all the beautiful details. It's gorgeous. I'm going to seal it with clear wax, and I know it looks muddy, but you guys trust the process because I promise it'll come out. Now, while that wax is still, you guys cover your ears, moist, we are going to take Dark and Decrepit and we are going to do what we did with that bunny planter and put that dust into all of those natural places that the dirt would sit in on there. And this turned out so great. I love layering colors like this and distressing them back because it allows for all of the beautiful details. It gives it a little bit of an age look, and then it transforms older pieces that you want to bring to life again. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment.